Sister Andrea Brunet is in a place to be. How you doing, Senate?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
So you have something to show us today?
Yes, I went on to the product line and I bought 3 shirts and I just wanted to show you all what I got.
Oh, let's see.
Okay, so this is the first one. This is the
Ah, the Onk shirt.
the Ankh shirt. I got it in black and gold, but I think I'm gonna go and get a blue one too.
All right.
Okay, so that's the first one.
All
And
right.
then
The Ma'at. Oh, it looks
this
good in
I don't
blue.
yeah,
All
I don't know.
right.
Yeah, this is the Ma'at one.
Oh, that's
I
what's
don't know if you
up.
can see.
Yeah, we see it. We
I'm
see
trying.
it.
Can you see it?
Nice bright
And
color.
yeah, I love this. I love this color. I love it. And then the piece de la resistance is my favorite
I'm the best to
one.
me
I'm
tonight.
the place to be tonight. Yeah.
That's what's up. I'm the
There's
best
that
to
on
me
the sleeve
tonight.
too.
Even on the sleeve.
Tonight.
All right.
Even on the
Tonight.
sleeve. I had it. Yeah,
All
this is
right.
the lick right here. So I'll be wearing that on
Oh,
your next live. I will have this one on.
all right. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh, wow.
So
Well,
that's
thank you.
that's the 3 ones I got.
Thank you very
Love
much
them.
for your support. It's appreciated. I'm glad that you like the products.
You're welcome. You're
All
welcome.
right.
And we'll see you on the next live stream.
All right. See you soon, sister. Peace.
Okay.
Hotel.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay, I hope you can see this. Civilization started with agriculture. Custom made shirt from Ma'at Forever, Shaka Indugu. Civilization started with agriculture. This is Curse of Hammurabi, Shaka Indugu, who I support. Civilization started with agriculture. Because
Hey, this is my unboxing video that I'm doing for the product I bought from my Forever's channel. I bought the coffee mug, and here it is. Sorry there's a glare from the screen, but lots of bold, crisp, beautiful colors, inside and out, high quality ceramic. I absolutely love it. So y'all go check out his website. It's got a lot of fun, fresh designs. And cheers to you, Shaka, and all of your endeavors. Peace.
All right. Hey, brother Donnie Williams. See, you got your
Yeah,
mail.
yeah. What's up, Shaka? I was gonna do just a. I know it's a serious topic, but I was gonna do a little
Oh, I appreciate that, bro. I'm
unboxing.
glad.
So
I'm glad. Yeah, yeah. Live
yeah, man.
unboxing. Bro, you don't mind if I use this excerpt, like as a clip, my
No,
intro?
no,
Oh,
it's all
thank you.
good.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
for those who wonder, I'm gonna share the link. All right, that's lovely.
Yeah, I got the Heather Gray. Oh man, yeah,
Oh, you got the
I
Kemet
didn't.
shirt as well. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know it had that on the back
In the
though.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's what's up,
That's
man.
lovely. Oh, thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
yeah. So just letting you know, just coming through, showing some support real quick, man. I'm about to get back into this Netflix film. So um, just wanted to say peace, man, and thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot, brother.
Okay, all
All
right.
right. Our sister RP is in the place to be. What's up, sister?
Et Sin E. How you doing?
E.T. Senate E. I'm doing Nefer.
Oh, great, great. Um, well, I got it today. I was thinking it was coming from France, but then I did the tracking and it was outside actually when I went to check, and here it is.
Oh, that's what's up. It's just like my hat. That's what's up.
Yeah,
Let me do the solo layout. There it is, brothers and sisters. That's
yeah.
what's up.
I really like this. Yeah, so I have an after school program that I help facilitate. And I'm going to wear this because we're going to start talking about coding. So I'm going to
Okay.
use this as an introduction because this is a code. It's
Mm,
ancient code, but it's still a code. And then we're going to be able to, demonstrate. I'll be able to demonstrate to them the meanings inside each of the, glyphs and stuff. So, but yeah, I was looking online and I was like, this is actually like really good designs, So as soon as I get some more, extra money, I'm gonna get the matching hat and I want to get a Ma'at shirt. But I really like the Kemet one to start with. Yeah, so it's really good. And the prices ain't bad either, so
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Un, deux. Okay. I guess that's what I'm gonna put the volume down on my end. Okay. Hotep Senuhena Senuti Tiren Ishaka Nugukemet. I hope you're doing well. The title of this live stream is Benefits of Slavery? Question mark. Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. Is not happy if you disagree. I'm not planning on going off. I had enough drama lately. Just want to tell you what happened just earlier. But first of all, who's in the place to be? Donnie Williams is in the place to be. V. Bennett is in the place to be. And he's asking what happened. Well, I'm going to go to it. So, Pan-Africanism Strikes Back is actually the name of a YouTube channel. Some of you may be familiar with him. I hopped on his live once, briefly, and I even forgot what the topic was about, but that was a few weeks back. That's his channel here, for those who don't know him. So it says here, Pan-Africanism Strikes Back, provocative, bold, defiant, you see. And right now he has a live stream you can see here. It's entitled, Is Neferkari Dessalines the Haitian Tariq Nasheed the Truth About Toussaint Louverture? Now, obviously, they are going at it for whatever reason. Some of you may not know Neferkari Dessalines, but he talks about Haitian history mainly, and he has been very critical of Tariq Nasheed, just like I have been. Yeah, Tony Williams with Brandon, and V. Bennett. Brandon is the name of the guy who runs that YouTube channel. V. Bennett is asking, benefits of slavery? Well, I'm going to share the link to the live stream so people can see if I worded his statement properly. But it is something to that effect, you see. I don't think it's going to remove the live stream so people will be able to hear what was said. So, Neferkari Dessalines, I've seen many of his posts, and Brandon was. Oh, actually, let me share the link to the stream so everybody can check it out in their own time if they want to. So he's still streaming right now. I'm going to share the link so that it's done. So there it is. You have the link in the chat. Oh, I even forgot to. I don't know. Those who wonder, only supporters can post in the chat. I'm gonna pin the message. It's at the top. There it is. Only supporters can post in the chat. Here's the link to join. It's $3 per month. That's $36 per year. It's not an obligation. I will share the link afterwards anyway, so we can, discuss. So before I play the video, the time when I got on this panel, I wanted to tell you briefly, the context. So Brandon talks about the brother Neferkari Dessalines, and the title surprised me when he asked, is that Neferkari Dessalines the Haitian Tariq Nasheed? Because Tariq Nasheed has been xenophobic lately. So I'm like, was Neferkari Dessalines negrophobic? No, sorry, xenophobic lately? And Brandon was saying, at one point that talking about Tariq, and I'm paraphrasing, talking about Tariq Nasheed all the time, that's not what's up, He said, these people, they are obsessed with Tariq Nasheed, and I think he may have named somebody else as well. So in the chat, I posted, I don't think you should criticize people for disagreeing with Tariq Nasheed's xenophobia. And one of the mod, Nefertiti, responded to me, oh, Danny Williams said that he caught that. All right. So one of the mod responded something to the effect of, like I'm paraphrasing once again. It's okay if people disagree, but it's just that it should not revolve around Tariq Nasheed. So I responded something to the effect of, Dessalines' channel does not revolve around Tariq, that he mainly deals with Haitian history. See? And then I can show you the screen capture that I've made so you can see that I'm not making it up, of what another mod said, So hold on. We will not see the first thing that made me respond to him, but it should be in the chat, So he wrote something to the effect of, oh, you've been blocked over there. Dang. So the mod called, hold on. You see the name here at the top here? Africulture Concepts. He first wrote something like, he wrote a few words, and then he wrote fairy tale pyramids. So I put the at, to tag, but I didn't put the full name. I put at Afri-culture. And I wrote, what's your foundation? Are you an Asiatic black man? Him isn't a fairy tale. It's real. And here, as you can see, he wrote, fuck what our ancestors did. you know. So you will hear me, commenting on that when I get on the panel. Then you have JC Star Inc. who wrote, he tagged me. Well, he meant to write Ma'at forever, obviously. He put Ma'at forever, so it's a typo. Black Africans who built the pyramids had no relation to sub-Saharan Africans. So you'll hear me reacting to that as well. And then he added here, Ma'at forever. And the Egyptians were conquered by the Greeks. And finally, Africulture Concepts ends up by saying, this ninja Ma'at think he Asiatic, laughing my ass off. So you will hear me reacting to that by saying that Egypt is not in Asia. You know what I'm saying? It's actually in Africa. But before I got to say that it's in Africa, then Brandon reacted. Oh, what happened? I don't know what happened with that thing. But hold on. Donnie wrote that guy Sim Police is another clown talking down on MLK. Well, I don't think maybe he was there. It was that dude you mentioned there. Hold on. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean I did not have any interaction with him. I don't know if he was addressing here when he wrote wrenching for that win, Shorty. But I didn't have any interaction with him. But he's to disagree is one thing, but to talk down on people who had a struggle, a fight, that had some result. You better what I'm a what for a reaction video to it. Okay, so you have the context, right? So I'm gonna play the excerpt. It's gonna be like 5 minutes, and then people can come and comment. So that's about it. Brendan can see that I did not make this video to go in on him, stuff like that. We have the right to disagree. But just wanted to state, hey, that's what happened. So Bennett wrote, this is a wave of disinformation being spread. It's not organic. All right. So feel free to get on the panel now, but let me now play the exchange that I had when I got on this panel. All right. So the video is. There it is.
Go ahead, Shaka and Dugu.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
I'm chilling, I'm chilling. Greetings to everybody. Can I react to what was written in the chat?
Go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, thank you. Um, Now, Africulture, I'm not complaining. Everybody's free to say what they want, but Africulture Concepts wrote, fuck what our ancestors did. I don't think that's what's up. Then we have JC Star Inc., who wrote, the Black Africans who built the pyramids had no relation to Sub-Saharan Africans. And that's really wrong because we have the Green Sahara period, or the Human period, and some reports have been released by some PhDs. And my brother V. Bennett has touched on that. And there is indeed relationship with people who live in North Africa and the people that we refer to as Sub-Saharan Africa. So if people want to have a look on V. Bennett's YouTube channel, they will see that. And also he added later on that the Egyptians were conquered by the Greeks, where before the Greeks, they were conquered by the Assyrians, but I don't know what that has to do with anything. Many civilizations were conquered. And then lastly, Africulture Concepts wrote this.
You cut out. You cut out. You cut out for about 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. So, all right. What JC Star Inc. wrote that the Egyptians were conquered by the Greeks. I don't know what that has to do with anything because many civilizations were conquered by different people. But before the Greeks, they were conquered by the Assyrians. And lastly, we have Africulture Concepts who wrote this ninja Ma'at talking about me, think he Asiatic, laughing my ass off. Well,
Okay.
Africa is not
Let
in
me
Asia.
let me ask you a question, Shaka. What
Yes,
does
feel free.
any of this have to do with black people advancing right now, today?
People have foundations. You see, different
I,
culture, different type of people have foundations, so they are free to follow what they want to. You see,
right, but people have foundations. But what does arguing over who came
no, I
from
don't call it
where?
arguing. Like I said, he's free to say what he wants. I just ask you if I can comment on the chat.
No, you
I don't
can.
mean, yeah.
I just like to emphasize the point. We all have a right to disagree. Me and Africulture disagree on the Egyptian thing, but guess
Hmm.
what? We can agree on what we can agree on,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. But I mean, I
But let
didn't
me
have
ask you a
like a.
question. Let me ask you a question. Did Were there slaves during slavery who learned skills while enslaved that they used to benefit themselves personally?
Probably.
Come on. That's a yes or no.
Well, if you give me,
If your ass learned how to read, listen, let me give you a question. If you learned how to read English during slavery, right? Right? And you ran away from the plantation, and everybody who helped you on the Underground Railroad said, look, you're going to come to a fork in the road. And when you come to a fork in the road, it's going to be two signs. One sign, if you go that way, it's going to say Montgomery. Don't go to Montgomery. That's the most racist town in this state, And if any black is caught walking by himself, he's going to be arrested immediately, taken to jail, and they're going to find out who his master is. And the other sign going to say, Win Dixie. Now, when Dixie, the white folks over there is pure drunks. They don't really care about nothing. As long as you smile and lower your head and bow your head to them, they'll let you keep on moving. Do you think the slave learning how to read while enslaved will benefit him when he comes to that sign?
Well, generally, the slaves were not taught how to read.
Man,
Some kind of.
you doing that thing again. See, you
Well,
don't
can I say
wait, no,
something?
no. Wait, let me say this. You expect integrity from Africulture concepts, but you have no integrity. You want a man to
But
do
just calm
listen,
down. I'm not
wait,
your
no, no,
enemy.
listen. No, you're
But can,
not. You're not.
can,
Listen to what I'm telling you.
but
You
can I
you're
quickly respond, please?
I said
Because you
hold
can.
on. I said
Okay, I'm
hold
waiting.
on. You're your own enemy because you have no integrity. You will say, well,
Well,
generally,
brother, you're
stop,
guessing. You're not giving me a
bruh,
documented
bruh, bruh,
evidence. You're just
bruh,
guessing, brother.
bruh. I'm not guessing a damn thing.
But
You
can you give
can
me a documented example, please?
listen. I don't need to give you a documented example.
Well, that's called guessing, brother.
This is a hypothetical question. If
Well,
a
I call it a
slave
guessing.
Do you think a slave with a pass that he needed to show, even if it was forged, do you think him knowing how to read would benefit him in that case?
Well, like I said, if you don't give me a documented example, you're guessing. But
Because
can
we
I
don't
ask a
know this.
question?
Cause you can't ask no more questions until you be a
No.
man and answer my question
Oh,
like
okay.
a
So,
man.
so, so if I
Yes
don't tell
or
you what
no?
you don't like, then
Yes or no? I
you know,
want you to either
brother,
say
maybe
yes
you're
or no.
angry, maybe
I
you're in a
want
bad mood,
I want you
but
to either say
okay,
yes or no.
okay,
If you think
okay.
it
Never
would,
mind, bro. But good, more
right.
power to you, brother. More
That's
power
right.
to you.
That's right. Because if he don't agree,
So that was the exchange, and I told him, more power to you, because it's more like ambush, like he wants me to answer his way. So, for the record, before I forget, before I hopped on the panel, he quoted from the Bible. Understand what I'm saying? And sometimes people use trigger words, key, some words like, oh, arguing. I'm like, that's not arguing. Because I could say that what he's doing is arguing. Sometimes people use, words like that. And also when it's like, until you be a man, I mean, I have no integrity. I am my own enemy. Now, Vivian said that he's going to hop on in 5 minutes. Danny Williams wrote, that's a yes when Brandon asked his first question. And our P wrote, sounds like Brandon, pure narcissist. What's up, Vivi? How you doing? He's on mute, but the thing is that I ask him, if you cannot give me any documented example, then to me that's guessing. You see, now would some people benefit on a personal level? Well, maybe. I use the word probably, because I was a bit thrown off by that question. But overall, there's no benefit of slavery, so that route is a bit slippery. You see, it's a bit slippery, and he was like at the beginning saying, "Oh, it's okay, we can disagree," but I disagree with his stance, and you heard what he was like. You know, you expecting integrity from uh, so and such and such, but you have no integrity. You are your own enemy. You know. So we have ended up in a place to be. So some people during slavery gained their freedom without learning English, without learning any skills from their slave masters. The masses, the grassroots, most of the enslaved Africans um, were working in the fields, you know, picking cotton, picking tomato, and doing all sorts of different kind of labor in the house and outside of the house. You understand what I'm saying? And many of them gained their freedom, like the Maroons in Jamaica, they had an independent territory, you know, and in different places, they gained their freedom without learning English or any trade that their slave masters would have taught them, any trade or any skill. You see, so that English thing, there are not many slaves who were taught English. A few were, uh, most likely yes, but or English for particular part of town or part of the world. But slavery was not only practiced by English speakers. So you have people who are enslaved by French speakers. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my stance. Are you there, VB? because you're on mute. Maybe he's oh yeah,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you, brother.
Is it a lot of background noise?
No, not a lot.
Okay. Yeah, it's a stupid ass question, man. It's like I didn't understand the question. I probably would have asked or said I don't understand the question because I really don't. I didn't understand the relevance of that question at all. But overall, man, what I was going to say is, in my view, when I hear a question like that, it reminds me of disinformation, like disinformation campaigns, this divisive kind of conversation based on assumptions, imagination, poor imagination, or false history, you know. And you heard him use the word Dixie and how he put that together with, yeah, if they just in the Dixie just bowed their heads and let you go on their way. It's like, you think that's what they did? I mean, that's the worst example he gave. It makes no
I'm
sense.
I'm sorry.
So
What is that, Dixie? What does that mean?
it's like the South, the southern countries,
Okay,
the
okay.
southern states, the southern states. Sorry. And so it's kind of like this backward. To me, it reminds me of like this disinformation campaign that's gone on between the Republicans and the Democrats, like to make black black people vote Republican. Basically, the idea that the Dixie's not so bad, and the Southerners, they
Uh,
just want to be separate, and that's not bad. If we could all just be separate, and this is our country, not theirs. Stop the foreigners from coming in. All of these
but
things. I mean, no black people want to pick tomatoes in the summer. No white people want to pick tomatoes in the summer that are American. So that's what a lot of the immigrants do, man. They're picking tomatoes and fruit and things like this. They're doing these jobs that most black people don't want to be a bus boy in a bar anymore. They don't want to do that. They did that for centuries. They don't want to be porters anymore. So, to me, it sounds like a political play. Like, and it's quite deceptive, brother, because when you have black people doing it, and let's be clear, we had the Uhuru movement. They got they received funding. They received funding, and there's
they are
more
denying it, but
organizations doing it.
they've been charged, right?
They may not have. Well, they didn't deny it. They're like Sonetta. They didn't deny,
Oh,
but
I think he did. I think Omali Yeshitela denied it, but they are being charged. Is that right? They are being charged, so it's under
yeah, they've been
investigation.
charged.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So we're gonna
they've
find
been
out that
charged.
even if they
Yeah,
find
but it's
guilty of it, they'll probably say, well, no, that's a Contia process, but we'll find out. But keep going, brother. Keep going.
right. So, there's going to be a sustained disinformation election meddling in the U.S. because that's the poor man's game. The Russia has no money to fight a sustained military conflict with weapons. So their main game, and it has been for a minute, is disinformation, and they're going to pour every little penny they can into disinformation into the U.S. And to me, when I hear that brother ask that question, that's the first thing that pops in my mind because it makes no sense. It's like, yo, the Dixies, we're not your friends.
But you
Just,
know what's
I
interesting?
mean, yeah, go ahead.
You know what's interesting? You mentioned like I'm paraphrasing, but like it sounds like some Republican type of person. You know, he actually talked about Kamala Harris. Now she's not Republican. She's a Democrat, right? Because she's down with Biden. But
Right, she's Democrat.
yeah, I don't know if I made a mistake, but she's a Democrat. She's not Republican. Um, but he showed her. He mentioned her like some speech that she made, just a part of a speech. He said something to the effect that she doesn't like our people. She doesn't like black people. Something to that effect. People can go and share the
That's what
link.
I told you. I'm just going
Yeah.
to say it, brother. I know this. I know I didn't hear him say that, but I'm not surprised that he did because I'm going to tell you, these people are so see through. They're so see through. They are not the masters of the words coming out of their mouth. They're ignorant, and they're persuading people, but persuading ignorant people, brother, that don't do their own research. And we talked about this before. Um, we know that the Russians are no different than the rest of the colonials when it comes to Africa. What happened? They signed the Berlin Conference, but this big they were part of slavery too. They were, whether they like it or not. And people seem they were part of apartheid. They funded and gave weapons to the apartheid government. As much as people would like to forget that, that's the facts. And when you have one side playing good cop and the other side playing bad cop, they're all bad cops. And only an ignorant, excuse my French, because it's not French, but only an ignorant ass wouldn't know that. So that's my take on it. And I wouldn't be surprised because these are not the only networks on YouTube doing this. YouTube is the cheap place to influence ignorant black folk.
But
That's
you
why I'm
know,
here, Shaka. That's
mm,
why I'm here, bro.
mm, um, what is it that I wanted to interject with something you said. Oh yes, you were wondering why he would ask that question. I suspect I may be wrong. Right now, he has a situation with Neferkari Dessalines. I'm going to call him Dessalines for sure, right? Dessalines has been talking about Haitian history. That's the most thing he talks about. And whatever caused their contention, Brandon started saying, like I said earlier, well, these people are talking about Tariq all the time. They're obsessed with Tariq. And it's like, can you picture Queen's Throne saying, oh, yeah, but Shaka Maf, whoever he's obsessed with Sanera, he talks about Sanera all the time, it's all the thing to talk about. Or vice versa. Me saying, oh, Queen's Throne, she talk about Sanera all too much. She talks about the molesters too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. If people see something that is wrong, that is foul, and they want to address it, they are free to address it. You know what I'm saying? To correct, the wrong statements, the wrong behavior, you see? And because Dessalines talks about the Haitian Revolution, about Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and several other uh, historical figures of the Haitian history, we know that Haiti is known as the first Black republic in the world. They have successfully put an end to slavery, at least on that part of town, on the island of Hispaniola, on the side, the left side, the western side, which was controlled by France. You see, so I'm thinking that maybe I may be wrong, maybe because the YouTuber um, Dessalines talks about that all the time, and now Brandon has some situation with him. Now Brandon is looking for something to counter Dessalines, and then he chose a route of, but then we have some cases of where was people benefited, you know, from what they learn or the skills that they learn in slavery, So benefits of slavery, there's a question mark. I'm not saying that he ran around saying, oh, there was benefits of slavery, but we heard what he said, what I'm saying? It goes in that direction.
Can
And
you play it again?
yes, of course, of course. I'm gonna do that.
Go ahead, Shaka and Dugu.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Greetings to everybody. Can I react to what was written in the chat?
Go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, thank you. Um, Now, Africulture, I'm not complaining. Everybody's free to say what they want, but Africulture Concepts wrote, fuck what our ancestors did. I don't think that's what's up. Um, then we have JC Star Inc., who wrote, the Black Africans who built the pyramids had no relation to Sub-Saharan Africans. And that's really wrong because we have the Green Sahara period, or the Human period, and some reports have been released by some PhDs. And my brother V. Bennett has touched on that. And there is indeed relationship with people who lived in North Africa and the people that we refer to as Sub-Saharan Africa. So if people want to have a look on V. Bennett's YouTube channel, they will see that. And also, he added later on that the Egyptians were conquered by the Greeks. Well, before the Greeks, they were conquered by the Assyrians, but I don't know what that has to do with anything. Many civilizations were conquered. And then lastly, Agriculture Concepts wrote this.
You cut out. You
Can
cut
you hear?
out. You cut out for about 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. So, all right. What JC Star Inc. wrote that the Egyptians were conquered by the Greeks. I don't know what that has to do with anything because many civilizations were conquered by different people. But before the Greeks, they were conquered by the Assyrians. And lastly, we have Agriculture Concepts who wrote um, um, talk, this ninja Ma'at talking about me think he Asiatic, laughing my ass off. Well,
Okay.
Africa is not in Asia.
Let me ask you a
Yeah.
question, Shaka. What
Yes.
does
Yes.
any of this have to do with black people advancing right now today?
People have foundations. You see, different
I,
culture, different type of people have foundations. So they are free to follow what they want to. You see.
right, but people have foundations. But what does arguing over who came
No, I
from
don't call it
where?
arguing. Like I said, he's free to say what he wants. I just ask you if I can comment on the chat.
No, you
I don't mean.
can.
Yes.
I just like to emphasize the point. We all have a right to disagree. Me and agriculture disagree on the Egyptian thing, but guess
Hmm.
what? We can agree on what we can agree on,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. But I mean, I
But let
didn't
me
have
ask you a
like a.
question. Let me ask you a question. Did Were there slaves during slavery who learned skills while enslaved that they used to benefit themselves personally?
Probably.
Come on. That's a yes or no.
Well, I think you miss.
If your ass learned how to read, listen, let me give you a question. If you learned how to read English during slavery, right? Right? And you ran away from the plantation, and everybody who helped you on the Underground Railroad said, "Look, you're gonna come to a
Shaka, you
fork in
can
the
stop
road,
it.
and when you
You can
come to a
stop.
fork in the road, it's gonna be two
You know,
signs."
it's just a stupid question because I mean now I could take Kamala Harris for example since somebody mentioned her, and she's the vice president, right? And I could say, okay, she has mass amount of skills, and she learned those skills. Forget what she learned them. Now, if I enslaved her and told her I wanted her to clean my toilet bowl every day, and I taught her how to do it, then I could also say, yeah, she learned how to clean my toilet bowl in slavery. She learned a skill. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? That's, I mean, it just makes no damn sense. It's like it's kind of like trying to give the credit to the slavery instead of the individual's survival and ability to adapt. It's like, what the fuck? Get
I think
somebody else to fucking be a slave if you think someone else could do it better. If you think you could teach somebody else better and that the teacher is the one who deserves all the credit and the circumstance, then why didn't they get somebody else?
I think he chose
You
the wrong
know?
angle. I think he
Uh,
chose the wrong angle. And you see here in the chat, this is the link to Neferkariti Dessalines. I never spoke to him, but I left a comment once, and he replied something. Because I like some of his content. There's a lot that I didn't know about Haitian history. Um, but here it looks like you called it right. We cannot judge a book by its cover. But his latest video, which was 3 hours ago, we can see Brandon on the left. Now on the right is a painting because Neferkari T. Dessalines is anonymous. So far, I never seen his face. So I may be wrong, but I never seen his face. So I presume he's anonymous. And so he wrote Black Republicans versus Neferkari T. Dessalines. It's actually Neferkari because in the chat they wrote Neferkari with an I at the end, but that's the point. So once again, I cannot judge a book by its cover, but seeing Black Republican versus Neferkariti Dessalines, and we have Brandon on the left, so maybe he is a Black Republican, or Dessalines considers him to be on the Republican side based on his views. So if that's the case, it seems like you hit it right on the nail. But that video was uploaded, or maybe it was a live stream, I don't know.
look,
Let me see.
Shaka.
Hold on, I just
Oh,
want
go
to say
ahead.
this.
I'm sorry.
No, no, no problem. That video was uploaded. It looks like it was on the live stream. It doesn't have any live streams. 3 hours ago. So most likely Brandon's live stream is a response to him, you know. But go ahead, VB. I think it's a wrong angle that he took, because if a few learn a skill, we cannot just take a minority, an exception, and apply it to the majority. You see? But go ahead, VB.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter who you're talking about, Republican or Democrat. That example he gave is stupid and dangerous. What the fuck? All people should reject that. It's not even the fact that someone would be a Republican that bothers me so much. I mean, it's that question that he posed. And then you couple that question with the fact that he is a Republican, and da-da, you get something. You get a clear picture of what's going on. That's the problem. I mean, I know Republicans, you know what I mean? But the problem is that they get dangerous when you couple them with ignorance like that. You know?
And you see, Donnie wrote, Brandon is a Trump supporter. Um, I didn't know that.
There
You know
you
what I'm
have
saying?
it.
He's free to support whoever he wants. But what's interesting is that you have some Republicans who actually argue that slavery was practiced by Democrats. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, throwing the ball at each other, or I don't know if it's another expression in English, but putting the blame on each other's side, you know. Uh,
Yeah, but let's
but
do it. It's. I think the only way you can really deal with that is just by just stripping it away, and just say that it was a part of the country, and there was a war over it, and there were some people. Their party is not necessarily that important because there were people in that party. It's like trying to say, well, because Marlboro cigarettes changed their party, that now they're absolved of all their past doings. No, it doesn't work that way because people have been changing party. Not only did the parties kind of flip their their um their view of things, but so did people. So did the people. It's a lot of people that are related to persons that own those plantations, and they switch parties. You see, so what do you do with that? I mean, you have to kind of start playing the party game when looking at that issue. I'm talking about historically. It's kind of like playing three card Monte. It's a fixed deck. You have to just deal with the facts. Who, what were their names? What corporations benefited? What people benefited? And deal with the overall fact that the state benefited through taxes. And so, the state is beyond party. Corporations are beyond party. You see what I mean? Individuals and their inheritance is beyond party. It shouldn't matter what party they were a part of or are a part of, you know, if you ask me. But as far as the current policies, yeah, come on, just mix that. Look, you could imagine Trump would make a statement like that. And that's the problem with Trump. It's not Republicans necessarily, it's the ignorance that they represent today that's dangerous. It's not all Republicans that are that ignorant. You can see they got a split, but you pick the wrong Republican and you find out some bad things are going to happen.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Um, I just want to say for the record that people know my stance on Pan-Africanism. I don't need to repeat it there. I made that very, very public. But I would say that overall, I didn't mind what Brendan used to say, and um, he's been to not that you have to go to Africa to be valid or legitimate, but he's been there several times. He spends time over there. Maybe he owns property over there. So he's not somebody that appears to have something against Africans. I want to state that for the record. Uh, but yeah, I think on this one, he's not taking the right direction. And I think it's because of the situation that he has with Neferkari Dessalines. I think it's the wrong angle, and the way he was, behaving towards me, because he started off saying we can disagree, saying we have the right to disagree, but apparently I didn't have the right to disagree. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't like the rah rah stuff, and I don't really dislike him. So I told him, okay, more power to you. But also, I almost forgot. It's a shame because I wanted to ask the gentleman, that was on the panel, Kala Genesis, because if I'm not mistaken, he used to be affiliated somehow, somewhere with a good brother Holip from the YouTube channel Holip Sees in Heaven, and I know that somewhere down the line he had some disagreement with somebody that used to be close to him. So I don't even know if it's him, but I wanted to ask him, because I wanted to move on to something else. See, sometimes I'm like, hey, I ain't trying to, go back and forth about that. So I was like, can I ask? But he's like, he wanted to really, Brandon really wanted to focus on that point, and I mean, damn, I ain't gonna say, I, I, I don't want to come out and say anything that's going to be interpreted as there was some form of benefit to slavery. You know what I'm saying? And once again, him asking me, what does that have to do with people moving forward? Well, why did he quote the Bible? You know what I'm saying? So it's okay for him to quote the Bible, but if other people, have some affiliation or appreciation for ancient Egypt, then it's a problem. And the funny thing is that the person wrote that in the chat, talking about fairy tale pyramids. Um, that was not mentioned, but I presume because he saw my username and maybe he heard of me, but because of my username, then he threw it out there like that. You know what I'm saying? So for people, and it's been a habit, to talk salty about ancient Egypt. And actually, Brandon quoted the Bible, and we know that Christians didn't enslave black people, you know, for a very long time. You know, I don't think we can say the same about the ancient Egyptians. And the other person who said that the ancient Egyptians had, I'm paraphrasing, nothing to do with sub-Saharan African. Like, what was the wording that he put? Black Africans who built the pyramids had no relation to sub-Saharan Africans. So it's similar to, we are not from Egypt, we're from West Africa, you know. Like how do we have any relation with the people from the Bible? For the few that were actually historical. So this is something that I'm used to. I'm used to people talking down on Kemet. I'm used to that. And I like to try, to come and try to add balance to the game. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, and it's a sad reality. It's not a lot of time, not sometimes. People dislike individuals who follow Kemet, who follow Ma'at, because of their religious affiliation, because they are Abrahamic and they see Egypt as the land of evil that practice slavery. They are more comfortable with the religion given to them by their former slave masters. See, because when we talk about the writings from ancient Egypt, it was not given to us or to the world by a former white slave master. You know, so it's something that we have to deal with and come to terms with. But it's a huge reality. You know, some people really dislike individuals who follow Kemet solely based on their religious affiliation or the one of their family or their friends and surroundings. It's like we are in a minority. When I say we, I mean anybody that considers himself or herself Kemetic, or follower of Kemet or follower of Ma'at. We are indeed a minority. And they like to beat on the weakest one. Because if it's a minority, then, they will see it as weakest. But when it comes to uh, historical facts, they are on point because they are trying to pass fictional stories and fairy tales as historical events. And they have been failing for a very long time. But history is on our side because that's what we rely on. Well, that's what I rely on mainly. Now, indeed, there was religion in ancient Egypt. Was what we could call some myths. You see, but still, the history is there. You know, so that person who wrote that stuff, the fairy tale pyramids, and I told that person, that's your foundation. I use it as Asiatic black man. And later on he put, yeah, I'm an Asiatic black. I'm sorry, I'm an Asiatic black man. Like LOL or something with some emojis, I think. You know, but the pyramids are real. I mean, that sentence I thought was strange. I thought it was weird. But that's a reality, and I want people to really register that fact. You know, sometimes you may wonder, is it something that I said, or did I get something wrong? Just because you follow ancient Egypt, those followers of Asiatic black men, you know, or those people who consider themselves Asiatic black men, they will dislike you. You know, you have to come to terms with that.
Shaka,
Yes.
you know, the problem with ignorance is that it spreads very easily. It spreads very easily, bro. And it's much harder to wheel it back, you know? And it's much harder to educate people, to be quite honest, you know? You've seen that. I mean, sorry, yeah. And so you could see that people, I mean, at the end of the day, who really cares what what your belief system is, or the fact that you're interested in history? That should never be a problem. That should never be a problem. But see, what we have here is a type of environment that's being created where any difference becomes a problem to progress. Anything. And any difference becomes a reason why I can belittle somebody else. See, so that's the real thing. And where did you see this? You saw it come out with like this, the Trumpian policies, how the politicians on the Trump group, how they were able to openly come out and spread hate speech, belittle people through speech, and that's become normalized. And what you see now in a lot of our population is you see us mimicking it. You know, it's okay to just, it's like smart to belittle somebody, smart to make to talk down to another person, one of our people. It makes us feel good to, you know, it's like a feel good tactic. We're resorting to the same tactics that basically the people that oppressed us have been doing for centuries, talking down to us, you know. And it's kind of like a cheap way to feel good, Shaka.
Yes, yes. And see, Danny Williams wrote the Ma'at in your name. They don't like what they call hoteps. Unfortunately, many people, use the term hotep, to denote something negative, even if it's like black Muslim who do it, or Moors, or Hebrews. Anybody that's from the conscious community, at one point, it was fashionable for the haters
But
of ancient Egypt to put the scapegoat on it. But even for
you know,
people who
Shaka,
are not in it, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but it doesn't even matter because look, it starts with the hotep, starts with the unk wearers, right? And these people, they will start off by saying, "Oh, you know, but if you had some Ashanti clothing on, then it would be different." Wrong, wrong. See, after the hotep one is solidified and everybody is happy to talk down about people who care about Egypt, the next group of people to belittle will be them, definitely, because that's how this works. You see what I'm saying? And so right now you hear some of them like Chief X saying, "Yeah, embrace your ancestors in sub-Saharan Africa." Well, soon as they're done with the Egyptians, beating the Egyptians up, they will be there to beat the rest of them up too, because this is what you call bigotry, brother. That's how bigotry works. You see, it has no rhyme or reason. It doesn't build something. It has to step on something to work.
Yeah. After the quote
You
unquote
see what I'm
hotep,
saying?
the next one in line will most likely be Africans. And here, for the record,
Yes.
look what made me want to go and react. And I didn't go like back. How the hell? I say,
But
hey,
look,
you know.
Shaka,
But hold on,
on
hold on, hold
any
on, hold on, hold on,
platform.
hold on. He wrote, fuck what our ancestors did. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
serious. And
Now,
you see, hold on. I just want to say, brother,
yeah, go
please,
ahead.
you got it.
Sorry.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay. Now, besides what people follow, whether they are atheist, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, uh, Kemetic, what have you, to come with the angle that some people, you know, not to say people benefited or gained some benefit from slavery, overall, when we talk about slavery, of course, we talk about the transatlantic slave trade for on that particular case, because he talked about, the Dixies, right? Black people in general, I believe, would not agree with that. Unfortunately, some Christians tend to say, that slavery wasn't that bad because it's thanks or because of slavery that we got introduced to the Word of God, the Bible. Unfortunately, some Christians say that. But overall, I don't think they would agree. But Pan Africans worldwide, I think they would strongly disagree with that stance. And his channel's name is Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. He has a red, black, and green flag on the banner of his YouTube channel. So I really think that he's taking the wrong angle, the wrong direction with that stance. But go ahead, Vivi.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that statement says it all. That statement says it all. I mean, you can't be taken seriously by anyone while you're claiming to be a Pan African and you let anybody in the room making a statement like that. I mean, since when is that Pan
That's his
Africanism?
and that's the moderator. If it was just any user, I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But he's a moderator. You know.
No, what you're dealing with is somebody who has an agenda, and they're not telling you what the agenda is, brother. The agenda is menticide, separate you from a history. Because if you're separated from a history, you're separated. Hold on, sorry. Yeah, if you're separated from a history and an experience, you're separated from a politic. You're just a transplant. You just become somebody else's bitch, basically. I mean, who the fuck says that?
I mean, it's
If I
crazy.
break your,
Fuck
you
what
know,
our ancestors did. Like, which other group of people say that? And also, let's make another analogy. Now, there's the movie, The Schindler's List. I have not watched it, but I saw some excerpt online. I saw the excerpt where they tell that guy who was manufacturing cartridge or bullets, and they tell him, okay, it's time to go. They take him outside and they want to kill him, but the gun jammed. So the guy didn't die. He wasn't killed because the gun jammed. And so this movie, based on true events, dealing with what people call the Shoah, you know, the extermination of about 10 million people, and we are told 6 million of them were Jewish people during the Second World War. So that ended around 1945, if my arithmetic is not off. How many Jewish people do we hear say, well, during the Shoah, uh, some people benefited because they learned some trade, they learned some skills, they learned how to build a cartridge. How many Jewish people will we hear saying that?
learn how to smoke crack. Learn how to stick the needle in your arm. Learn how to rape your women. Learn how to rape your kids. I mean, it's like there's so
Yeah,
many.
we have to weigh the pros and the cons. Yes,
Don't
indeed,
yeah,
because
don't
as
forget
as
all of the
yeah,
don't forget all the things you learn.
as much as they may have taught a selected few to read English,
I mean,
they
you would think.
had people whipping
But
fellow
look,
enslaved people. They had them sleeping with each other, even if they didn't want to. And there's even reports of having uh, people doing incest, practicing incest. You know what I'm saying? So hey,
hey,
I'm
look,
saying it
Shaka.
diplomatic. Yeah, go ahead.
If slavery was so good, then what's your problem? You know what I'm saying?
His
Like, what the
problem,
fuck?
his problem is with Neferkari Dessalines. You
Yeah.
know, and
Well,
and and and, and see, it's like
slavery didn't remove that, did it? You
uh,
know, that's.
you remember the sister who was on the phone with Filthy Frankie.
Mm-mm.
She didn't like
Yes.
being she didn't like being asked about it, and at one point she said, "Oh, maybe he's maybe some of what he said, talking about Filthy Frankie, is true. And that's the wrong route. It is something that someone you've been going against for a while, because Brandon has been going at Tariq Nasheed he actually sued Tariq Nasheed. He said that he won the lawsuit. I don't know the details of the lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? There's a video where Tariq was out of court and Brandon was out of court. Tariq was with two Latino looking
Maybe part of the
bodyguards.
settlement. You can't say so or something. Maybe it was a
Maybe,
settlement. You know.
maybe, you know. And then, Brandon didn't want the physical confrontation, so he kind of jumped over a little something to stay away. I wouldn't say that he's scared because he does practice jujitsu. There's videos of that, so I don't think it's like he wasn't scared on the physical level, but I think he just wanted to avoid the physical confrontation. And besides, I think he was by himself or maybe with one person when Tariq was with two people. So, you never know what can pop off. You never know if they have some weapons or anything like that. So they were both filming each other and both have released the footage. Well, at least Tariq did, to make fun of Brandon. So he's been going at Tariq for real, for real, for real, like some people say. But now he's gonna say, now that he has a problem with Neferkari Destiny, and he's gonna say, "Oh, yeah, those people they are obsessed with Tariq." I'm like, what? And it's funny to me when people do that. It's like, let's say, God forbid, I made that example so many times, but you and I, VB, we have a problem, and then I'm gonna side with Filthy Frankie. Say, yeah, yeah, come on. And even if I don't side with him directly, for me to say, oh, yeah, but yeah, but at the end of the day, um, V Bennett, he talks too much about Filthy Frankie. He's obsessed with Filthy Frankie. How would that sound? You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes, you
Yeah,
can be
you know what I
triggered.
would be like? I would be like, oh, he's obsessed with Filthy Frankie. Yeah, and so what? I mean, is that a
Yeah,
problem for me? I'm being
I
obsessed with
will
Filthy
sound
Frankie?
off.
No.
I will sound off knowing that I've been going at Filthy Frankie and the HOK. And
I
and
mean, but
and
who
it's
would care? That's what I mean. Like, why is
Danny
that a
Roto would have to
problem?
fight
Like,
Shaka. No, I'm just saying
yeah,
this, just in relation to Brandon. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been going at Tariq just like what's his name? Neferkari Destiny been going at Tariq. And sometimes we are triggered or we have a disagreement, but I would urge and encourage people to really assess and evaluate the stance that they are about to take, because to say something like that is like giving points to Tariq, and you're not supposed to give points to your opponent. I
you
didn't
know
use the
what?
word enemy, and
It's not
definitely the
politically.
slavery talk, benefits from
Yeah.
slavery. Nah, there's a better way. There's a better route. But go ahead, VB.
Well, it's not politically astute, man. It's part of the machine instead. It's not politically astute. It's more just like being part of the overall YouTube machine. I need some extra pennies, and and I also it's also kind of like reacting. It's a sign of insecurity, man. That's what it says to me. I mean, he could be jujitsu fighter or whatever, but that doesn't mean you're not mentally weak. That doesn't mean you don't have flaws upstairs. You see, and those are the real flaws. The real flaws are the ones upstairs because let's be honest, any finger can pull a trigger, but not anybody's making these guns and these bullets. You know, so I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm not. I'm sure he is capable of jujitsu to some degree. And but at the end of the day, the question is, what are you using it for, and who do you use it against? It's At the end of the day, it's just as good as the return button on his keyboard. It's like, what are you pressing it for? I mean, what are he can speak, but what are the words he's speaking? He gave that example of he's talking about slavery, blah blah blah. It's like that's a perfect example of it. I mean, who cares if your jujitsu is good because what's coming out of your mouth impacts more people. How many people can you beat and change with jujitsu in a day?
Yeah,
You probably won't confront anybody in the whole day with jujitsu, but you will have a million words coming out your mouth that will impact way more people
way more
on a
people, way more
platform like
people.
that. So,
Yeah, yeah, way more people. I don't think he realizes. I think he's being reactionary right now because, like I've shown, that last stream from Neferkari Destiny was uploaded 3 hours ago, and Brandon's live stream started, I would say, about 2 hours ago. He was after, if and people can double check that. But when you think about slavery and all the atrocity and the continuous mistreatment and torture that enslaved Africans had to face, and then to look for positive things into it, or benefits because of trade and stuff like that, I mean, some pimps will reward their prostitutes, you know. Now, some prostitutes want a pimp, you know. That's a life they chose, but some had no choice. Some were forced into it. So that's just an analogy. But going back to the slavery, I mean, come on, like like the slave master raped the dude's mother, rapes the dude's sisters, beats the father, the mother, beats him, and then he teaches him English, and that's it's a benefit. No, so
No, and then he gives his brother the whip and says, "Whip him, whip your brother,
yeah,
whip him."
yeah.
And then
Well,
he whips his brother. It's
and
like, so what's the price? What replaces all that? You have a trade. You know how to stick a horseshoe on a horse. You know how to smelt some metal. I mean, that's some bullshit. That's a bullshit argument.
it's
People
a wrong
did those.
stance. In my opinion, the stance is
Yeah,
really off, really, really off. But he doesn't realize it, and then he ends up, saying that I have no what's the word he used? Integrity. You know, and
yeah.
that's the
You
word
know why?
upside down. And it's like
Because
you have the HOK with those rapists and child molesters, but we are wrong.
he,
We are against that, but we are wrong. But go ahead.
no, he has no integrity. I mean, he basically spit it all out there. He has no
Uh,
goddamn
you know,
integrity. I mean, that's just,
I would say that he's just tripping on that stance. On that stance, because
you know what
I
it
don't
is,
see him
Shaka?
as a bad person, but on that stance,
But
I
see,
think, yeah, go ahead,
I
brother.
think you're right. I think he's tripping and he let some, that's what I mean about the brain. He let somebody get in his brain and
Yeah,
now he's out of pocket. You see?
yeah,
But I'm going to tell you again, you should use the jujitsu of the mind because, you need that too. Because if that's the case, all somebody has to do is gas you up and you're going to fall off the cliff and blow it anyway. You see what I mean? So, all you have to do is be the wings behind somebody's ignorance, be the wind behind somebody's ignorance, and you win the battle. If that's the case, you see what I mean? I mean, so he should be cautious about
yeah.
making maneuvers like that if he's serious about what he's doing.
I
Because
agree.
see, one thing I learned is when what you're doing and saying has huge implications for a mass amount of people, you're more, if you have any brains, you will be very wise to take counsel on every single maneuver that you make and every single word that you make before you make it. You see what I mean? And
Yes.
unfortunately, I would have to ask who does he seek counsel from? Does he seek it on the daily? I mean, because if he wants to affect change, that's a good thing to have. You know, like
On that stance, I don't think he seeked any counsel, and I agree he should be careful if he wants to maneuver in that route, because you see, it's safe to presume that he is a Pan African. We have the name of the channel, Pan Africanism Strikes Back. Once again, we have the red, black, and green flag on the banner, and even from the position that he has, you know, we were to ask Pan Africans, whether they are members of organization or not, but let's focus on just people who are uh, members of Pan African organization, and we ask him, "Do you agree with his stance about benefits of slavery?" I'm sure that the vast majority of Pan Africans will strongly disagree, criticize, and even condemn that stance. You see, so even according to his own standard, you know, it's off. And I'm not a Pan African. I mean, I think I made that clear. I've been very close to Pan Africans. I've been at many of their events. I've rolled and did things with some Pan Africans. You know what I'm saying? Like I explained, we used to meet every Sunday. I would teach the Meduna Chat, I would teach the Swahili, talk about current events. So every week we will meet and break bread, and it was good environment. So it's like we're not just online. You know what I'm saying? We just really meeting. With us VB, and we also did some visit to the Louvre Museum. I had the plan of us going to visiting, in other countries, because if there's a few of you, then you can get some discount with the bus, with the coach. You know, the funny thing is that I talked about this, that we were, let's say, three. You know, I had the ID, I came up with the name and anything like that. But anyway, they were older than me. But I talked about that. I say, you know what, later on, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to Germany. We're going to go to other museum. And one day we have our meeting. And feel free to come back, VB. I guess he lost connection, but anybody else can get on the panel. And then one day that dude, it's a sucker that I told you about. As a child molester from his home country that he's not criticizing for a strange reason. And he's the one who told us that the guy molested an 8-year-old girl and then fled his country. But anyway, that being said, one day we're having a meeting. It's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna go to other museums in other countries. I'm like, all right. But some people are like that. But yeah, VB is back. Yeah. Feel free. We lost you for a minute, but feel free, VB.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
What I was gonna say is that just give me 2 seconds, but hold on. I was gonna say before I go and pause for a second, I was gonna say, being Pan-African is not you saying you're Pan-African. Being Pan-African is not wearing those colors. Those are just symbols of Pan-Africanism. That's just the term, the name, Pan-African. You see, and it's always about your conduct. It's always about your conduct. And so just because I'm not saying this about him, I'm saying this just about anybody. It's always about prove you are. It's always about that. Prove it through your actions, or don't do it at all. Because you might find out that somebody might take you up on that offer, and then they will be sadly disappointed. You see, let down. The people that call themselves had these ideas in the past, they actually did something with those ideas. And it's important to understand that when you take up that name, it's important. You can't just go around screwing off people. There's levels of responsibility with that. And that's what I would say about that. Now, I'm not dissing him. It's not personal towards him or anything. I don't even know him, Brandon. And actually, I've heard from you that he's done some good things. I don't know, but I mean, you just always have to question yourself and look inside of yourself and make sure that you are being that what you say you are, especially when you wear a banner like that, Pan-African, because you can do it greatness or you could do it harm if you don't take it serious. Yeah, it's being a Pan-African is not just saying it, and it's not it's not for people with big egos. It's only responsibility. It's literally taking up a stance to your death. It's a lifelong work. And so I wouldn't say it's necessary to call yourself that, because in these days and times you can be a Pan-African without even saying it, without even wearing the clothes. You can actually be one, because a lot of what I see from these people wearing these colors, sadly enough, they're not serious, man. They're not serious enough upstairs, and I hope that's not taken personal to anybody, but I just mean that, man. You have to seek counsel, and you also have to be a critical thinker, a serious critical thinker, and you have to apply what you preach. You have to apply it, in everything that you're doing, yeah, that's what I would say. And most likely if you're really a real Pan-African, you're going to take some serious hits. You're going to take some serious hits in your life, because there's people out there that really want to stop the real Pan-African, and some of them, these people get some black people to stop you. They first throw those out in your face. It's easy to get the black folks to stop you. It's easy to prop up some black, so going back to what I forget who said this, the revolution will not be televised, and that includes YouTube. That's what I would say. You can
Just
work
cut
your way
Aaron.
up. Yeah, Gil Scott Heron, exactly. Thank you for reminding me, man. Because if I'm correct, man, the brother was in D.C. for a long time, but he's from Harlem, I believe. Uh, but yeah, the revolution will not be televised. So yeah, so you can learn some good things um through YouTube, but you know, I would be very wary about these kind of movements really existing on YouTube, brother. I'm just serious. I'm not saying they don't, but I'd be wary of it. And to me, I would be highly suspicious of what a person says they are and the clothing, because the easiest way in my mind to be a Pan-African, it's in how you behave. It's not your clothes, and it's not you wearing a sign on top of your head. Hey, I'm a Pan-African. That's definitely not how you're going to do it, if you ask me. So keep a flag in your house, maybe. That's okay. But in the public thing, I don't know, man. Just it's just my personal view, though.
I agree that some people are not Pan Africans, don't carry the flags, the colors, but their lifestyle, they may have black owned business or support black owned businesses. They have a black family. Um, they will share black history and even practice some African belief system or spirituality or religion. When you have some Pan Africans who will not practice any African belief system, who will not be with a black partner, who will not necessarily support black business, but they're the one who claiming to be Pan Africans. And Brandon has followers. And that's where the people who are close to you play a part. The stance that he's taking, um, any opponent of his, any opponent of Brandon can use that. He's giving them ammunition. Like, listen to this guy. So the people who like him, who like his content, who like what he says, they should try to tell him, you'll be off on this one, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because that
I
that,
mean,
that sense, see, if I didn't see him, going to Africa on several occasions, if I didn't see him going against Tariq Nasheed and his lack of action for reparations and his xenophobia, you know, I would have probably reacted differently, um, because that's really off. You know what I'm saying? That stance is not helpful at all. It's not help. Some people may label him an Uncle Tom for that stance. You see, but it's on him now. We will see how will react. How will he react? Will he realize? Okay, well, hey, okay, that wasn't really the best way to go about it. We like he talked about integrity, and we will see. Or will he be stubborn and maintain that stance? Will he go in on me or other people who think like me, who said similar than what I have said? You know what I'm saying? We will see. We'll see. You know, because I mean, dang, I'm sorry. In 2023, maybe members of the Ku Klux Klan will agree,
yeah,
like the vast majority of a group, but I don't know what
yeah.
vast
Fuck what your
majority of.
ancestors did. That's what the Klan would say.
Well, that
They
was not
said that
Brandon.
every
That was his
damn time. This
moderator.
ain't
That was
Africa,
not
boy.
moderator.
This ain't Africa, boy. Fuck what your ancestors did, boy. That's what they say.
He wrote, and I want to show it again. I don't know how many other group of people say
And
that.
you will never ever hear me utter anything close to that ever, 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 for any reason whatsoever.
So what's wrong with this dude? I mean, it's a lack of self-control, bro. Overall.
It's real off. It's real off. You know what I'm saying? It's real off. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. You know. So that stance is it gets a pass. and but me not rocking with there were some benefits. Some enslaved uh or let's say some slaves, I prefer to say enslaved, but it's somehow some way the same. But there's a nuance. Some slaves, get gain some benefits, if they were taught English. Who taught them English? The same people who maintain them in this inhuman condition. That is considered a crime against humanity, at least in France. There was a law. Wa Tobira law, Tobira law. Taubira. That's a black
No,
woman
Shaka, it's
from
not
French
just in
Guiana.
France. It's the entire globe, considers it a crime against humanity.
No, I'm not sure
It's
about
the
that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
no,
But I
it's
mean,
the UN, man. Anybody
yeah,
that signed on to the UN,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it's not like I can't speak for France because I know there's that law that they've passed. I think it
Oh,
was in
right.
the
Yeah,
early
it's a
2000s.
national
But
law. I got you.
yeah,
I
yes,
got you.
indeed.
Yeah.
France has recognized the transatlantic slave trade as a crime against humanity. Funny thing is that there's no reparation, though. You know what I'm saying? So the wrong was done, but when it comes to reparation or compensation, then they have all the excuses in the world. But it's lady who was I think she was a what we call a deputy, but in English has a different connotation. But she was a politician. Actually, she rose to the rank of she was elected, not elected, but nominated to be the Minister of Justice in France. She's from French Guiana. And she's the one who had that project. And they accepted it, and that's why the law bears her name. Uh, Unfortunately, you know, some black people they like to criticize um, people who are into politics. I'm saying people are on TV and they would like to say, this and that because later on, later on, she played a part in some law when it comes to same-sex lovers. Um, Either about marriage or adoption, but I think probably about marriage. So a lot of people went at her. It's like forget what she did before. But you know how some people are. They just want to criticize. They sit in the comfort of their home. They're not involved in anything whatsoever. It's always easy to criticize. But that's life. What can we do?
Yeah, they want to be ultra. They want to be ultra Pan Africans and like, man, forget the law. We don't need to vote. What we need to do is go out there and kill them from the sofa,
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said
from the
that.
keyboard.
This thing here, this thing of the so-called conscious people, so-called revolutionary people who always talk against voting. I always found that very weird, very weird. Like I would tell people, um, if you want to vote, vote. Don't feel like okay, I'm not going to vote because so and so said that it's useless and stuff like that. Because for example, one of the one of the organizations that's considered the most revolutionary by the so-called conscious community is the New Black Panther Party with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. When Khalid Abdul Muhammad was alive, he talked about Malik Zulu Shabazz running for some election. I forgot if he was to be a mayor or something, and he said that he ran independent and he had a great score. He did not win. You know, there's a guy that I mentioned before. Who said he told me on the phone that Dr. Shekanta Diop was a gorilla. But once again, in French, it's not the same connotation as in America. But somebody says he's a gorilla, it's like saying he's a beast. It's like saying he's strong. It's in French. If you say that, it really means like it's an ape. You know, um, and he's like a big face of Pan Africanism in the French world. He started off being Kemetic, then he I'm sorry, he started off in the Nation of Islam. He got kicked out of the Nation of Islam. Then he used the Kemetic movement, and then he told the people that he converted to Orthodox Islam, when in reality he went back to the Nation of Islam, and he confessed that in his book. Just told all of his followers that he basically tricked them. Um, a lot of Muslims do follow him, because a lot of them are groupies, because the Nation of Islam teaches that Allah is a man born in 1877. Any self-respecting Muslim would tell you that this is called shirk, which is translated as association, associating partners with Allah. The worst sin in Islam, the only sin that you would not be forgiven for, but they let that slide, because they are groupies. And because that movement comes from America as well, because a lot of people, and I think some have noticed, a lot of people around the world, it just bootleg whatever comes from America, but anyway, kind of losing my thought now. But before that, I was talking about that. Why did I start talking about an African dude? Well, I forgot. It may come back to me. It may come back to me. Because before I talked about Tobira, then there's a reason I addressed
Well, Shaka, you can do two things. You can do more than one thing. So the problem is that a lot of these people don't understand. You can have a gun and vote. You can do a lot of other things and then also vote.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I remember now. He ran for elections. He said he presented himself as a candidate to be a mayor of a city, next to. But anyway, but he's the type of guy who's like, politics. Basically, it's not our way. What I'm saying, criticizing people who are working with the government and stuff like that. So it's a bit ironic. But overall, in the so-called conscious community and revolutionary circles, I mean, even the vaccines, they would talk you against it, and if they don't want to take it, fine. But the way they've been towards the people who took the vaccine, I thought it was just too harsh. You know what I'm saying? Because I would say that well, I guess it's smart observation. I did not do
Look,
any
man.
survey or poll, but most of the people who took the vaccine, I did not hear them going off on those who would not take the vaccine. But the people who were not taking the vaccine, if you listen to them, people who took the vaccine, they're stupid, they're silly, they're manipulated, and blah 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 blah.
Shaka.
You know
It's
what? You see, you heard about
yeah.
LeBron James' son who had a stroke, a cardiac arrest or attack. He's still alive, but he was practicing, from what I understand, and he collapsed. Some people are saying that it's because he took a vaccine. I don't know if you heard that, but feel free, Phoebe.
I mean, I put it to you like this, man. When COVID first started, Trump was the president. You see, Trump was the president. Now, in the beginning, they knew that COVID existed and things like it had another name at that time, but they did have an idea that it would advance into a new, stronger version, right? Now, when Trump became president, look at Trump's words. Just look at his words and how he handled the whole thing. And if you want to follow a person like Trump, then go right ahead. But you haven't, you almost have every reason not to. You almost have every single reason not to listen to what a person like Trump says. I mean, first of all, don't get me wrong. You should always be worried about what you put in your body. No matter what it is, even an aspirin. Even, no matter what food you take, no matter what medicine you take, but you have to understand something. You live in a society where if you want to control and regulate everything yourself, you must make it all yourself. You must. And so if you've taken an aspirin, I question why you wouldn't take the vaccine. You don't know what's in the aspirin any more than you know what's in the vaccine. All you know is what's written on the bottle. So, in other words, you follow to some degree anyway. I mean, where was your baby? Where'd you give birth? Did you give birth at home or did you give birth in a hospital? Uh, all these things, man. So we just have to recognize that, generally speaking, 95% of the time, most people trust the health authorities, and what their advisories are, especially when it comes to shit like this. That's what most people do. So then on top of that, if I'm correct, the idea of vaccines didn't just spring out of nowhere, you know. It's actually a black person. It's Africans that created vaccines first. As far as I learned, you see, the idea that one person that is sick, you have a sickness in your tribe, one person gets sick, but they survive that sickness somehow. And you take some of their blood and you put it in other people, and as far as I knew, that's like the beginning of what vaccines are, you know. You take a lesser strain of a thing, and then you allow that to spread so that people can survive it and develop immunities to it, you know. So I don't know. That might be too complicated for people, and I'm not an expert on that, right? But so correct me if I'm wrong, and that's fine, But at the very least, you should be able to ask
All
yourself,
that being said,
which,
but the person who said he's not, I would say, he's not the most reliable person, but uh, because he came out publicly with it, and I never heard him being refuted. There's
mm,
probably some truth to that. But I like what you're
but
saying because they rely, they will take their partners to deliver at hospitals. They will trust science on so many levels. But when it comes to the vaccines, oh, it was too rushed. It's gonna make you,
you have
be
you have to admit,
paralyzed.
you have to admit, when it comes to the vaccine, you're basically listening to Trump, and Trump has a very poor record of doing anything right. You know what I'm saying? Almost, he has a record of almost wanting to create chaos, you know, out of anything, you know. So I mean, just think about this. That COVID could have brought the U.S. down. It could have brought the U. Not something else. Not somebody with a missile. Somebody with a missile cannot take down the U.S. You'd be out of your goddamn mind if you ever thought you could beat the U.S., the United States of America, with bombs and missiles. You're just crazy. You're irrational. Because they they have the largest military budget on earth. And do you not think they haven't been planning for years, planning all types of dastardly weapons, that they haven't even shown people yet, man? They've been stocking up, you know. But and they have more ships and more weaponry than anyone out there on the table already that you see. You want to find out what they don't show you? No. But a sickness could take out the US. You see what I mean? So just looking at Trump, look at how many people were affected by that, man. I mean, I don't know. I took the damn vaccine, bro. I took the vaccine, and I took the Pfizer one. I took the Pfizer one, and I took two. I didn't take them all yet. I'm supposed to get the next one, the third one or whatever. I didn't get that yet, but it's time. I can if I want to. Yeah, but then again, I took a polio vaccine when I was a kid. I took it's not the first vaccine I've taken. So I do believe that most people, healthy people, develop immunities on their own. But look at how many people are not healthy. Look at how many people just on the average are not healthy, man. You see, like, so you do it at your own risk. But the problem is not just about you. Do you want to live in a country where half of everybody in your town is dead? Is that the place you want to live? Is that where you want to live? Do you want to see that happen? Because that's what COVID was trying to bring. And so, sure, although you might be fine without the vaccine, it's very, if you look at the health records of Americans, it's very obvious a lot of Americans would have dropped dead. Then what? Is that what you want? So I don't know. I wouldn't follow that one. By the way, it is. I think people were put under a lot of pressure in some cases to take it. Like they were saying, kids can't go to school. Some kids, you wouldn't be able to go to school if your kid didn't take the vaccine, right? Um, so it's different state to state. Uh, but then again, that's something that Americans sign up for. They want to be governed state to state. They don't want the federal government having all the power. So they want the country to work like in one state, it's like this. And as soon as I cross the street, it's like that. That's how they want their lives to be. They sign up for that. You see what I mean? So they experience that problem with guns. I mean, you have to have guns because why? Because if you don't have guns, the people in the next state are going to have all the guns. And then their criminals are going to be coming over and selling the criminals over here the guns. And then what's the point? You may as well have a gun too. You know what I mean? It's like very poor federal national regulation on some issues. So anyway, I don't want to take up too much time, but
No, you're
I
good, bro.
took the damn vaccine.
Well, I think I said it before. I took it because, as people know, I've been traveling to many different countries to document the past. So I go to those museums. Um, and during the COVID, we had how do you put it in English again? A lockdown. And once the lockdown was over, we also had curfew as well. So lockdown was over, you needed the vaccines in order to travel, to take the plane. So I had no choice. If I had the choice, I wouldn't have taken it, but because I had no choice, then I took it, and I was able to travel and continue my journey, not to say my mission. I still have a fair bit of videos of different artifacts that are thousands of years old. Once again, yeah, and indeed quote from the Bible. So I didn't say, what does it have to do with us, black people advancing today? People pick and choose what is okay to use or rely on or to quote, to make us move forward. And really, people are in a comfort zone. And now it seems that some people apparently are so much in the comfort zone that they will, make justifications or find good side, positive side, or beneficial side of slavery. And to me, even though I'm not a Pan African, that seems quite contrary to the Pan African
Slavery,
movement. African
slavery
mindset.
built, slavery built the industrial complex. I mean, what is it? That's what allowed it to reach heights it had never reached before. In America for those hundreds of years, that's where all that, they were able to stock up power, man. I mean, the rest of the world is complaining about the NATO today because of the funds and the money and the power that they stocked up from free labor. You see, and in many cases, the irony is some places are trying to emulate it too. They're like, damn, we didn't, so while people could say that today, like you benefited from it, it's like, okay, but then don't complain about everything else that came with it either. If you're gonna take that type of stance. But I would say don't be somebody else's bulletproof vest when you take that stance. I mean, because you don't have to take that stance to receive any of the benefits of the slavery, right? I mean, if you if you think you got some benefits, you got the benefits. You don't have to wear the vest for somebody else. It was still it was a crime against humanity. There were still horrible things. I mean, your families were ripped apart. I mean, what the hell?
No, but he made it.
You've been You've been economically crippled. You cannot rise
physically crippled too,
to the
because we know how.
top.
But yeah,
You
yeah, physically.
cannot rise to the top of that. And the only thing that's keeping African Americans in there is politics. I mean, there can be, we might have more money, but there's people that argue every day. No, we still we might even have less than what we had at some point, as a group, when you look at how much the country the GDP is. It's 20 trillion a year. We control 1 trillion, but do we even control that 1 trillion? That $1 trillion they're talking about is in our hands and out our hands every payday, every rent day. Every day you got to pay for your car loan. Every day you got to pay for the loan on your house. You see what I mean? So I don't know, man. To me, it just sounds like you. And I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm not anti-US. I'm pro-US because look at what the alternatives are. Look at what the alternatives are, man. I mean, the alternatives are not necessarily that great, you see? But at the same time, I don't have to wear the vest. I don't have to be somebody else's bulletproof vest, man. I want reparations. You know what I'm saying? I want reparations, man. I want equality. I want justice. I want justice for the crime. That doesn't mean tear down the country to get it, but it also means, yo, man, I don't think I need to be wearing the vest all the damn time, you know, for
Yeah,
somebody else. Yeah, that's all.
I hear you. And yeah, economically, I'm sorry, economically crippled and even physically crippled. In France they have the black code, code noir, and they talk about the punishment when somebody, a slave, attempts to flee, when he runs away. If he's caught, then they will cut that body part, like the part of the leg, and so on, and eventually, I think after 2 or 3 times, it will be put to death, but it's available, the black code, just put that slavery, the black code, that was part of the French law, and in America, the punishment are well documented. There's the book 500 Years of Lynching, for example. There's another book called Without Sanctuary, where we see pictures of people when about to be lynched and after they were lynched, and Brandon gave an analogy or an example of people in prison, and people, some of them learn a trade, He gave the example of some people learn to do carpentry, but when people are incarcerated, for the most part, it's safe to say, because some people are falsely accused, it's a reality, but I guess it's safe to say that most people in prison have committed some crimes, some have committed acts which is against the law. And some people will say, oh, yeah, we know it's corrupt, it's crooked. Well, maybe we can say at least half of them, you know. So the context, the situation is way, 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 way more different than the slavery, because it was not by choice. Slavery was not by choice, contrary to what Kanye said. But Kanye is going through some things. It's obvious. So yeah, I guess that's really what I wanted to state. I think that everybody can see that I was not disrespectful towards Brandon. I did not call him any name. um at least people, I would appreciate if they give me that, that this video was not, with malicious intent. I just wanted to give a response in a cool manner and in a cool environment, because I told him I don't know if he's in a bad mood or anything like that, but hey, it is what it is. He's going through something with he has a situation with an FK with Desaline, so it is what it is. But it's good to have talking points, what I'm saying. You want to go at somebody, do your thing, but that direction, I think it's really off, but and the sad thing is that some people, they will follow along. They will follow along and make excuses for somebody's position, so if I start talking about benefits of slavery, then I would appreciate if the people who follow me, the people who are subscribers of me, that they would say, no, Shaka, you off on that. But I don't think I would ever take that position. It's just an example. Whatever position you feel, just speak your mind. If you disagree, just let me know, because at the end of the day, we will always disagree. The purpose is not for us to agree on everything. But that stance that Brendan is taking right now, I mean, damn, I don't want to repeat it too much, but it's I mean, we can do a poll. We can do a poll. Actually, I think I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to do a poll, and see the response of the people, because I'm supposed to be able to do a poll. I will try in the community timeline. So, thanks a lot, brothers and sisters, for being there. I'm going to end the live stream now, and yeah, I'm going to make my usual closing remarks. So, stay Stay safe, stay healthy. If I'm allowed to, by the next shadow, I will definitely holler back at you. I don't argue, I steadfast. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you do not think right, you will not act right. If you know better, you will do better. Do I do any shadow?
What's up?